Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for a special edition of News Center Maine at 6. I'm Sam Rogers. Because of NFL football, we're bringing you the latest headlines and forecasts on our streaming platforms. We begin tonight in Ellsworth, where a 68-year-old man was sent to the hospital after he was shot by police following a harassment complaint last night. Just after 9:15 p.m. yesterday, police responded to an address on Water Street for that harassment complaint when officers found Jeff Payne. Police say Payne had a warrant out for his arrest for failing to stop for an officer. Officers reportedly made contact with Payne at his home and informed him of his active warrant. According to a news release, Payne allegedly greeted the officers at the door with a gun and shot at them. Officer Joshua Stewart shot Payne in the arm, then arrested him. Payne was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Police say he will be brought to Hancock County Jail once he's released from the hospital, where more charges are expected. The Office of the Maine Attorney General is investigating the incident, and Officer Joshua Stewart has been placed on administrative leave, which is protocol in these police shooting incidents. We want to warn you that some video in this next story may be disturbing to some viewers. It's footage from last Sunday's deadly shootout involving Portland police. The Attorney General's office released video from 4 separate angles of the incident, including body and dashboard cameras. Police say they were responding to an assault and pulled over Kyle DeMarais. That's when police say DeMarais, who you can see here walking across I-295, pointed a gun at officers and the shootout started. A press release about the shooting does not clarify who fired first. You can hear more than a dozen shots in this video. Police say DeMarais died in the shootout and that neither officer was injured, but their cruisers were hit with bullets. The 2 officers involved in the shootout are on administrative leave, which again is standard procedure, while the AG's office investigates. It's unclear when we'll get a ruling on whether the officers were justified in their actions or not. A man from Massachusetts is facing life in prison for kidnapping and bringing a woman to Maine against her will back in 2019. A U.S. District Court in Portland found Stephen Pilson guilty this week of forcing the unidentified woman into his car, restraining her, and assaulting her when she tried to escape. Pilson told her he was taking her to Canada where, quote, she would die, until the woman managed to escape from him on Interstate 95 in Arundel. 3 days before the incident, Pilson had pled guilty to 5 charges, including a different kidnapping charge involving the same woman. He is expected to be sentenced for this incident after an investigation by the U.S. Probation Office. And a woman from Oxford is facing charges related to a hit-and-run crash last night that left a man seriously injured. According to the Oxford Police Department, Amanda Croto of Oxford allegedly hit a man in front of Oxbow Beer Pub on Main Street. Police say Croto originally fled the scene, and when they found her, she was intoxicated. Croto was taken to the Oxford County Jail, where she faces multiple charges, including aggravated operating under the influence. 30-year-old Spencer Martinez of Paris, identified as her boyfriend, was also arrested on OUI charges. Police said Croto was already subject to bail conditions for felony theft at the time of the incident on Friday. Back here at home, crews are still working to restore power to Mainers after this week's devastating storm. At last check, Versant is reporting just over 2,500 customers without power. The company says more than 250 line crews worked to restore power today. Versant adding most of its customers should have their power back by tonight, except for areas in and around Bangor and in Washington County. You can find more information on the company's website. Meanwhile, Central Maine Power reports just over 7,000 customers without power, the majority being in Lincoln County. Now, as crews continue to work this weekend, CMP is reminding drivers to give them plenty of space if you see them on the roads. Now, that powerful storm system also disrupted a staple of Maine's winter tourism economy, our ski mountains. But now they're back open. Sugarloaf reopened on Thursday, and today Sunday River and Saddleback both welcomed back skiers. While crews are used to dealing with Mother Nature, this storm came at a key time for business. Our Donovan Lynch has the latest from Rangeley.
As daylight came to the western Maine mountains Saturday, moving chairlifts marking a triumph.
We recover well. We're very used to comebacks.
Less than 1 week after a powerful storm ripped through the state, causing heavy damage to Maine ski areas, skiers returning once more to Saddleback Mountain. The journey to this point, less miracle and more muscle.
Where we're standing right now is sort of ground zero.
Bruce Lancaster is the facilities manager at Saddleback. Well, he was thankful roads around the mountain didn't wash out too bad like they had down a ways at Sunday River. A gaping hole in the base area combined with watery slopes left much work for grounds crews.
I've never seen any damage like this before. It was pretty devastating.
The recovery process made ever more urgent by the timing of the storm, just before the start of a profitable holiday season. By Chief Revenue Officer P.J. McSparron's estimate, the week after Christmas accounts for 20% of Saddleback's yearly lift ticket sales. And when the rain and wind came last Monday, that financial boost hung in the balance.
What was going through my mind was, how are we going to be able to open and welcome the thousands of skiers that we normally would this time of year?
The lightning-fast reopening is thanks in part to the manufactured snow on the mountain, which grounds crews say contain an additive that resists rain better than the natural stuff. But as the winter marches on, a confidence among staff of the return of easy wind and downy flake.
There's a lot of winter ahead of us, so we'll recover and it'll be a great season.
At Saddleback Mountain, Donovan Lynch, News Center, Maine.
Sunday River in Newry also reported a successful first day back after the storm. All right, Jason Appy is here for our first look outside. Jason, of course, with Christmas weekend, we're all concerned about holiday travel, but, pretty clear out there.
Yeah, mostly good. There will be a little patch of some freezing drizzle tonight, which I'll get to on radar. But for now, we are all clear. It looks very good across the state. So no problems in Maine with any commuting going on. However, let's just take a little bit of a pan here off to the west. You see what's going on in Vermont and in New York, Massachusetts. Snow and a little freezing kind of pocket popping up there around Rutland. That is going to head east, about 77 miles away. It'll get here after midnight. But it's going to fall apart a bit, it's going to weaken a bit, and it's also going to warm up a bit. So I'm not anticipating a widespread freezing rain situation. But still, if you're headed out after midnight west, watch out southern Maine. Temperatures with that southwesterly breeze tonight, notice here, there it is being picked up, that little batch of snow. Interior York County, Cumberland, southern Oxford, heading back towards Carroll County, New Hampshire, even a little bit Merrimack there. Watch out. But that's over by the time you wake up tomorrow for the most part. Wind southwest. Tomorrow we'll have a bunch of sunshine, some clouds, and then temperatures warm up into the 40s, just barely in Portsmouth, 37 Wiscasset, 40 in Portland by Sunday evening, 8 o'clock. So the sun long gone by that point, but got some cloud cover moving in to help insulate the atmosphere. And by this time, I'm not expecting a big widespread freezing rain situation here either, because number one factor, you've got temperatures that are in the upper 30s, mid 30s, and 40s. So right now, I think we dodged the big bullet there as far as any freezing rain or ice storms. 41 and cloudy for Christmas in Bangor. It's going to be really the only snow you're going to see in the snow globe is in the snow globe I zoomed into, unfortunately for the kids. So hate to be the bad messenger there. High pressure in control. This is Christmas Day, 7 o'clock in the morning. If you're doing, obviously traveling maybe after presents or whatnot, pretty much all clear eastern seaboard. But there's a storm that's getting going in the southeast, the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes. This is obviously the day after Christmas, the 26th. So you're seeing that precipitation start to move through. Now, as far as we go, we have to wait until the 27th, 28th before we get anything measurable. Precip-wise, most of this is going to be rain and not the frozen variety. But there is that opportunity for more than an inch again in Bar Harbor and Rockland. So have to really watch it very closely going forward as we get into the middle of the week, although not a big travel week, I think, for the middle of the week. So we're most likely going to be just fine there. Seas 2 to 3 feet for the Mariners. Wind southwest 5 to 10 knots. Water temp 43. If you want snow at the coast, you'd like this to be a lower number because that onshore flow at 43. It is tough to get things to really stick along the immediate coastline. Next 3 days, how about some 40s around here? I mean, who's complaining about that except obviously, I mean, even the ski resorts, I would imagine, and the kids looking for snow, but everyone else looking to get a break on the heating bill is going to like these temperatures. So it's one of those double-edged sword kind of forecasts where you love to see 40s because you're not cranking the heat, but you don't love to see it as we get in December, the end of December, and you're looking to do things like outdoor events. Maine is a massive state for outdoor winter sporting events, and this is not really the week for that when you see temperatures pushing close to 50. But once again, heating bill versus the outdoor stuff, you know, Sam, it's a give or take.
And as we heard from Donovan's story up at Saddleback today, even they know that it's a long winter and, you know, plenty of time for snow.
Many winters we have flipped the script in January and February and come back with a vengeance. Even, as you know, as Kevin Minnick said, April, a winter month around here. So.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jason, thank you. 2023 began with the ongoing war in Ukraine and ends with a new war as Israel continues to battle the terrorist group Hamas in Gaza. NBC's Richard Engel looks back at the world of war.
Ukraine's military this year faced a harsh reality check. Russia fortified its grip on eastern Ukraine and is refusing to let it go. With some of the fiercest fighting taking place in the city of Bakhmut.
Russian forces have now surrounded Bakhmut on 3 sides, and this is the only remaining route in and out of the city that Ukrainian forces can use.
Civilians who remained were driven into underground bunkers without power or heat. Ukraine threw everything it could at Russia in a long-anticipated counteroffensive. The United States backing President Zelensky with weapons and money. Vladimir Putin turning to mercenaries from the Wagner Group, led by his one-time caterer. The mercenaries fought or were shot. And the caterer turned commando, Yevgeny Prigozhin, grew so powerful that he turned against the Kremlin and marched on Moscow before having second thoughts. He died when his plane exploded in midair. U.S. officials believe Putin had him killed. And the war continued, with Ukraine and Russia firing so much artillery, both sides nearly ran out. Zelensky pleading to Washington for more. Putin turning to North Korea's Kim Jong-un. But so far, Ukraine's counteroffensive has accomplished little more than a stalemate. Political support in the United States is now in question.
Several Republican presidential candidates are expressing concerns about support for Ukraine.
Що я можу сказати? А готовий сенатор чи той чи інший кандидат, які вважають, що це дороговартісно для Сполучених Штатів підтримувати Україну, вони готові піти на війну, воювати, відправити своїх дітей, вони готові загинути.
And then Israel had its 9/11. On October 7th, Hamas-led militants stormed Israel from Gaza, killing more than 1,200 people, most of them civilians, and taking 240 hostages, including many women and children. The militants rained fire into Israel.
Stay down, stay down.
Israel responded with a ferocious military assault on the Gaza Strip to root out Hamas for good, flattening entire neighborhoods. President Biden has insisted that the U.S. can and must support 2 allies at once.
We cannot and will not let terrorists like Hamas and tyrants like Putin win.
The war in Israel brought to the surface long-held pain and anger, with massive pro-Palestinian protests calling for a ceasefire, and pro-Israel demonstrators raising their voices against rising anti-Semitism.
Bring them home.
A week-long ceasefire between Israel and Hamas brought a brief moment of calm and saw more than 100 hostages freed in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. But negotiations collapsed, each side blaming the other. More than 20,000 people have died in Gaza so far, about 70% of them women and children, according to the health ministry run by Hamas. Aid agencies say the 2.3 million people in Gaza are suffering a humanitarian collapse as pressure is mounting on Israel to bring the war to an end. But there's no agreement on who will run Gaza if or when Hamas is defeated. Richard Engel, NBC News.
While many families head to a holiday dinner at a relative's house over the next few days, some Mainers do not have that luxury. However, a handful of fishermen met up in Portland today to give back the way they know how, serving up some seafood. News Center Maine's Caroline LaCour followed along with them as they spread some warmth underneath the Casco Bay Bridge.
When working on the water, helping out your neighbor is just the standard in the fishing industry.
The association was created to bring all fishermen together all across New England and all different fisheries. And yeah, we just came up with the idea.
Which is why this Christmas it was a no-brainer to folks of the New England Fisheries Stewardship Association to spread some warmth in Portland.
For all the generosity we've had across New England, so we thought what better way than to ask for some local support and get some wild fish.
Butter, cream, potatoes, and some fresh haddock straight from the DD May, all going into some homemade chowder to be shared with some who need it most.
So it's local Gulf of Maine haddock, right from everyone's backyard.
And for cold nights, care packages.
They have blankets in them, a couple different types of blankets, gloves, hats.
200 of each packed and ready to make its way to Commercial Street for folks living at the Harbor View Memorial Park.
Yeah, it's Christmas, but any time of the year, it's a good thing.
With the association's mission being to protect marine resources, founder Jerry Lehman says at the end of the day, the goal is to be able to share that gift with all Mainers.
What do we bring to the table for all U.S. citizens? Wild, hard, healthy product, and we're environmentally, and we're sustainable, you know, and it's our goal to keep it this way for all times.
Keeping Maine's maritime traditions alive by sharing them with others. In Portland, Caroline LaCour, News Center, Maine.
Well, it happens every year when we move into the colder months. Our farmers see less traffic at their farmers markets. But crop growth isn't exclusive to a nice summer day, and our farmers still rely on the business year-round. Today, farmers at Stevens Square Community Center in Portland were hosting their winter farmers market and doing what they do best, selling everything from meat and bread to fruits, jams, and more. Jan Goranson, co-owner of Goranson Farm, tells us supporting farmers in their slow season is a great way to ensure you keep your local farmers in business, and it can also benefit you, the customer, for health and even economic reasons.
If you're supporting the folks that are out there growing the food or preparing the food or making the bread directly, it's a benefit to, it's really mutually beneficial.
Goranson said the food can be cheaper and much healthier, and the farmers allow you to pay through EBT if you receive food through SNAP benefits. The market will continue to meet every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. until April 13th. Well, the New England Patriots play football tomorrow night, taking on the Denver Broncos. It's not a Sunday night football game. It will actually be on the NFL Network at 8:15. So normally this time of year, Patriots fans focus on playoff scenarios, not mock drafts. Heading into Week 16, the Patriots are slated to have the second overall pick in the 2024 draft. Right now, the Chicago Bears would pick first after acquiring the Carolina Panthers pick. The Panthers' record is 2-12, the Patriots 3-13, so there is a chance the Patriots get the top pick after the season. After tomorrow's game against the Broncos, the Patriots will head to Buffalo to play the Bills, then host the Jets to close out the season. The last time the New England Patriots had the first overall pick was in 1993 when they drafted Drew Bledsoe. We are officially 2 sleeps away from Christmas. It's not time for Santa Claus just yet, but Iron Claus is here to spread some cheer. The heavy metal themed Santa has been giving out photo opportunities throughout the month in exchange for a donation to Preble Street. All the money will go to help provide food and shelter to those in need, which is especially important around the holidays and as the weather gets colder. The man behind the suit is Dan McCluskey, owner of the Ironclad Eats food truck. McCluskey says that the community welcomed his business and family and that it's important to give back and support each other to make Portland a better place to live.
It is a small town. Portland's not a huge city, so everyone knows each other and it's important to leave a good mark. At the end of the day, like, Portland is a wonderful place. You know, it's not perfect, but we're all working together to make it what we can.
All right, Santa Claus showing out there just before Christmas Eve. We have time to check in with Jason one last time before we go on to our mid-show break. Jason, you said pretty clear night, some precipitation?
Yeah, after midnight. And if you celebrate Christmas then and you're out late tonight, you know, you're making some sort of a drive around Maine, it's a southern Maine thing after midnight, and then on Christmas Eve, then Christmas Day, things are going to clear up quite a bit. So mild, I mean, for Maine standards, Sam, for a run for 50 by Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess we'll take a mild Christmas, especially, you know, no rain. We would want the snow cover, but we'll take some sunshine.
A little help with the chimney with the heating bill there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this streaming edition of News Center Maine at 6. Jason and I will be back at 11. Have a great night, everybody.